Chapter 25. A slight rain falls from the cloudy sky as the night rises. The air is cool with a moderate wind that adds to the chill. A murky moat surrounds the isolated castle, resemblant of a fortress with fortified battlements of stone and ballistas stationed at its crenels. However, at its thin walkway to the castle door is a single guard. The man is stout with years of age on his face. As he waits like a statue, the gate behind him opens, revealing the lobby of the castle. A younger guard walks up to him with a salute. "Dusk approaches," he said with a proud voice of higher authority. "You did well today. Grab some grub in the barracks and report there." "Now's my chance," Aziza thought to herself. He doesn't respond, only nodding to confirm his word before he heads into the castle. As he reaches the gate, the young guard halts him. "Hold a moment. What was that?" "What do you mean, sir?" the older man finally replied. He shakes his head. "It must have been my imagination. Continue as planned." The older guard resumes his path and once inside, the castle gate closes. He walks past the lobby, down the hall where at the end lies a grand stairway, then making a right towards the kitchen. The halls to the kitchen are littered with guards, like hornets in a hive. With each step closer, a fresh smell of stew draws his attention. He enters the crowded kitchen. Dozens of tables are filled with people resting and bantering over a tasty meal. As he glances around, a young, abrupt voice distracts him. "Nice to finally see you here," another guard greets him, sitting at a table eating at the fresh stew. He waves him over like a flag in the wind, and despite his obnoxious volume, no one pays him any mind. "And here I thought they might leave you out there to freeze." The older man moves to the pleasant woman in an apron at the head of the kitchen. She gives him a smile as warm as the meal, and he nods. He makes his way over to him whilst being careful not to bump into the others seated around the dining room. He drinks in the soothing warm liquid that relieves his chapped lips. "I'm getting too old for this." "You'll be fine. A little cold weather never hurts anyone. In fact, it probably gets your mind racing and blood pumped. Aren't you supposed to be getting ready for your next shift? Come on, don't be like that. I was just making a jest. But you are right." He continues to sip the broth of the stew, unamused by his words. "Your next shift is in the basement?" "Sure is, and I just recently learned that the reason we are stationed there is because of an Adenan treasure that's been guarded for centuries." The older man peeks his head up from his bowl. "Well, what is it?" "Oh, so now you're interested." He rolls his eyes, leaning his head back. "Just tell me already." "Okay, fine. It's known as the bottomless pot." He wiggles his finger as if he was a magician at a child's party. Finally, some confirmation. "And what's that supposed to be?" "From what the rumors say, it's just as it's named. It is capable of holding an infinite amount of anything. It could even hold the entire ocean." "That's poppycock," he shouted with disbelief. "That sounds like something I would hear my grandkids spew out." "Oh, but it's not. The archives in the library point it to be true." "And why would this bottomless pot be helpful to anyone?" "From what the tomes say, it was used long ago to uncover shrines from the ocean floor, said to have been created from an ancient race of fish people a millennium ago. One of such shrines held another ancient relic they crafted known as the ultimate key, which could open any door without fail." "Really? A key? I was hoping to hear something more interesting than that, considering it comes from a time supposedly the goddess walked the earth with fairies and dwarves." "Sure, a key doesn't sound all that interesting, but that is only the tip of the iceberg. Until then, however, we only know of one shrine's location." "What are you two babbling about?" A guard of higher status with battle scars on his face approaches the table. His armor, unlike their generic gray steel, has streaks of blue with large and shining medals on his right breast. The young guard bounces from his seat and up to his feet. "Nothing, Captain. Just headed back to work, he screamed. Then come along. There is no time to dawdle. Yes, sir, he saluted, and the captain led him out of the kitchen. I will talk to you later, he whispered. They strut through the hall, passing by several other soldiers that are heading to their post. So today is your first day being stationed in the basement? Yes, sir. You understand the amount of responsibility that befalls on you? Yes, sir. Good. For a basic rundown, the basement is located in the same hall near the stairway to the king's throne. As they pass the stairs, he gives them a quick glance. I've never been there, sir. I have always wondered what is up there. Other than His Majesty and his advisor, there is a path to the roof of the castle. Why would there be such a thing? His Majesty likes to breathe in some fresh air and look over the land his castle lays on, paranoid of any intruders washing up on his land. But enough about that. Back to the task at hand. Pass by a large stairway with a red carpet that rolls down to the lobby. They reach the end of the hall. A steel door which appears to have been here before the castle awaits them. The captain hands the young guard an old key, though he is hesitant at first. You will need this. This is used to get in and out of the basement. Only you will be posted there until someone takes your place on the next shift. He motions for the young guard to open the door with his newly acquired key, which he does. The door loudly creaks open, and before them lies a dark opening that is blacker than tar. While the young guard is anxious, the other steps in with the same confident strut, as if he had night vision. You coming or what? Yes, sir. He shivers in with the door slamming behind him. He yelps like a scared pup, and with each step into the darkness, Aziza has her eyes on him like a hawk. He bumps into the captain, and awaits for his next moves as his legs shake. Right before you stands the final door that you will be placed in front of, he said, pointing to a door in a worse condition, with a dim sconce revealing its ancient rust. You will stand in front of this door guarding what's behind it. It's very important that no one gets in. You understand? The young guard's voice is as hollow as the sounds of their footsteps, barely filling the dead air once they reach the spot. I said, do you understand? He shouted, his commanding voice echoing along the decrepit stone walls. Yes, sir, he whimpered. Good. Now I will leave you to it. The young guard tries to get another word out as his anxiety spikes. However, the leader makes his way to the other side. The door opens, letting in a brief, gentle light from the lobby shine in. Yet it isn't long as the door slams shut. The door echoed violently, and once it stopped, he's left in complete silence. He doesn't move or get into position as he stands in the darkness, surrounded by its cold embrace. It's fine, he muttered, his voice shaking. It's only me in here. Just me and this door. At least I hope so. Okay, that's enough. He trusts me with this job, and I plan on pulling my weight. Not only is the pay good, but I might make my way up the ladder and end up being the king's right-hand man. I might even be a retainer for the princess. A goofy grin smears across his face as he swoons. On to the next phase. Light footsteps reverberate near him, and he snaps to his right. Who's there? He screamed like a banshee. He finds nothing there, nor does anything respond to his cry. His teeth chatter, and his voice shakes like a tremor. He never said I couldn't take a bathroom break. I'm going to go do that. He speeds over to the entrance, nearly crying, and again a brief light eliminates the dark before quickly becoming gloomy again. In the cold, empty room, a jingle rings in the air, and the knob of the treasure's door turns. With an eerie and loud creak, it opens, revealing a chest made of dilapidated wood. Soft footsteps make their way over to it, and soon it cracks open. Inside is a gold vase, with a fish's mouth as its opening. The moment the vase lifts from its chest, a dark skin hand reveals itself around the handle. It continues to spread further to show a brown cloak and silver hair. I was hoping that would last longer, Aziza whispered as she brought the pot close to her chest. She gazes at its beautiful design, turns her eyes over to its opening. The hole is fairly small and is pitch black. As the legends of the pot fill her mind, she snatches a pebble from the cobblestone ground. Carefully she drops it in and waits, and waits, and waits. She brings the pot close again like a mother holding her newborn baby. Now, how am I going to get out of here? She steps to the entrance of the basement and places the fragile key into the lock that she picked from the frightened guard. She cracks it open ever so slightly to peek into the hall. The path to the entrance is swarming with guards armed to the teeth, leaving only an opening into the king's throne room. With not much of a choice, she waits for the opportune moment to emerge from the darkness. She counts the guards that pace the floor, studying their pattern. She finds it and slides through the slit of the heavy door. She guides the door, quietly closing it. Loud banter closes in and she bolts up the nearby stairs. "What was that?" a guard blurted. At the top of the stairs is an empty audience chamber. No one is nearby, but stomps make their way up the steps. She doesn't have much time. As she remembers their words, she makes for the glass pane exit at the front of the room that leads to the roof. "It's over, thief." She snaps her head to the throne to find the captain from before. He steps from behind the throne with a crossbow drawn. I knew my senses were correct. Such a salty smell could only come from something belonging to the sea. "Hand over the pot, pirate, and your sentence is bound to be shorter than life." She covers the golden pot behind her cloak, and guards from below rush up the stairs with bows drawn. She is right at the door, but the moment she turns her back, she will be shot. Her mind races as they step closer. Then Fedir's words ring in her mind. Aziza sits in one of the cabins, closely examining the fading Jenny. Upon further inspection, it has spikes like a cactus, but they do not sting. As she ponders, a knock along with a voice interrupts. "Can we come in? We just want to talk." Even with the stress that lays before her, that calming man's voice is hard to ignore. The door is unlocked. The door is pushed open, and Hotaru, Isamu, and Fedir await on the other side. While their faces are full of worry, she gives them a forced smile that she has a hard time agreeing with. They step inside. "Is there anything we can say to stop you?" Isamu started. "I'm sorry, but our lives are on the line for this orb, and I will do what is necessary. Throwing yourself to the wolves isn't necessary. We left Aliahan together, and we will go to Adina together. Maybe if we just talked, they would be willing to listen and let us borrow it," Hotaru added, her voice not so confident. "I wish it was so. However, I think if they notice this ship, we are most likely to get captured for trespassing." Aziza had a brief chat with the captain about the operation. Adina and its people are a fearful bunch, scared of what lies beyond the ocean. They have refused trade and all other interaction to the outside world to avoid confrontation with monsters. Luckily, their land is fertile, able to sustain their own resources for the time being. Pirates share rumors of the treasures that the land holds, but any who dare trespass are sentenced to death as their secret cannot escape its walls. "I hate to admit it, but you may be right," Fedir said. He takes out his staff and holds it out for her. "Then take my staff." "I can't take it. It's yours." He shakes his head. "It's ours. I believe in your ability, but if things go wrong, you can use it to blind them for a chance to escape. You needn't worry about magic either. The staff will do all the work." "He's right. That thing's power put Hotaru and I into quite a daze." While she is reluctant, she takes a hold of the staff. She gazes at the blue, pretty crystal that sits atop it. Now she has another reason to succeed, to return things back to the way they were. "We will be waiting for your return, and if it comes down to it, leave the pot behind and save yourself. I would rather us all receive a lashing from these pirates than have you suffer alone in a dark dungeon," Fedir ordered, and the others nod to agree with his words. The guards get close, and with her offhand she reaches to her back. A bolt from his crossbow is released. but Aziza swiftly dodges and the glass pane shatters. She whips out the steel staff and slams its hilt onto the ground. A light builds inside the crystal, and soon a flash bursts from within. They try to block their eyes, but they are too late. The captain peeks out from the throne he used as a shield. Cunning trick for a thief. Tinkles of glass echo towards the roof. The outside freezing wind caresses her skin. The chase was on. "After her!" the guard shouted with a commanding wave. They shoved through the broken door, covering all areas of the roof. "Find her!" No one is on the roof. Only the ballistas aimed far out to the plains stand. Their shuffling is closing. Time is running short, and there's no exit other than back to the throne room. Her mind weaves an idea as she looks out to the grass. It's risky, but it is all she has. A loud splash erupts in the night, and the guards peek over the railing of the castle. In the moat they find Aziza swimming onto land. She is soaked to the bone, swarmed by the freezing air, but it doesn't hinder her. The cold now is like a summer day compared to the frigid touch of death. "Fire!" he ordered. Arrows fly at her, and though she dodges a few, her reflexes are shot, and one nicks her in the leg. She winces as she limps away from the castle, the cold playing as a double-edged sword, nullifying most of her nerves, her mind focusing on providing safety to the golden pot. Another volley of arrows fly in the sky. However, a harsh wind like a brutal storm catches them, blowing them into the moat. "What the?" A fireball collides into the castle walls, and Aziza looks up to find Isamu dashing over to her. "I got you," he reassured like a knight in shining armor, lifting her with ease over his shoulders. He runs past Hotaru and Fedir, who are slinging wind and fire spells. He reaches the gangway with the others closely following. At the deck of the ship, the castle is quite a distance away with their arrows out of range, yet they still hurry pulling in the gangway before sailing off into sea before the ballista has a chance to strike them.